welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who either just had a major cooking accident or just got involved in a serious flower fight. It's David Cross.
What's going on, dude?
It's been a long time, my friend.
It's been minutes.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening, we recorded an episode over Skype, and I know it's weird that we're saying this up front, but yeah, only my recording went. So I had to call you back, and so we're back at it for part 2.
All I gotta say is Bloodshot can't die, and neither can MMF.
That's right. We keep going. We're
gonna make it happen. That should also say how hyped I am to talk about this movie that I'm gonna talk about it again.
There's just so much in this movie, and so if you missed the first the episode we recorded, I actually made David cry. He sang Bohemian Rhapsody by himself, the entire song. No, but I think my brilliant words about the movie made you cry. I didn't bully you into crying, correct?
Yes, I was crying because I felt so strongly that this movie is an Oscar contender.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is okay. If there was a category for $45 million movie that knows what it is, gets the job done, and is meant for entertainment, would this be nominated?
Yes.
This movie,
yes.
Like, you can't sit there and say this is not the Casablanca of superhero movies, but it is the Casablanca of what this movie is what it wanted to be. So do you think when they went into making this movie, when I say they, I mean like the director, I mean like Dave Wilson, the producer Jeff Wadlow who wrote it, the entire team, do you think this is what they wanted in the end?
Well, it's what they wanted because they released it. But
That's true.
I think they set out with a goal of making a medium to small budget superhero movie, which is exceptionally difficult in this day and age when the audiences, like you and me and everyone else, are conditioned to view superhero movies as being like $200 to $300 million.
Exactly.
Like this was made with 10% of what other heroes movies have made. So like, yeah, this is what they wanted. You know, this is a straight B movie film that gets the job done.
Now, I just want to kind of dispel some myths that have made about this film. And there are some people who I really trust. What's good? You got the nanobites in you? Are they going through your system, tearing you up?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I think I have a little bit of allergies.
But the peanut butter?
Yes. I had a big mouthful of peanut butter before this episode started, and we had to delay it because I needed water.
Well, that's a scene in this movie too. I mean, that's the linchpin of this film. When he wants to go get the water from the peanut butter, and he learns that Guy Pearce is the evil scientist.
This water isn't wet enough.
Yeah. But I guess one myth I want to dispel is that people are saying that this movie tanked at the box office. This movie did not tank at the box office because it never had a fair chance at the box office. When it was released, the Asian, European, African markets were closed down. So it came here when people were very worried about the coronavirus. And so it's only made about $10 million. But no one went to the theaters that weekend. It was the worst weekend since the 90s or 80s. And that's even with inflation not even accounted for. So it's not, we can't say, we don't know whether or not this movie tanked. I think overseas with this is a Chinese backed film in China, Japan, then you have Korea, you have the European markets, you have South America. I think with those markets, this probably would have pulled in 100 mil, or at least I would say in the range of 80 to 100 million worldwide, which
absolutely
would have covered the 45 million production budget and the $30 million thereabouts to market it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I thought it was about $30 million produced and $15 million the market. So it was a total $45 million.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, you read that?
Yeah. So if it hits 80 to 90, that is almost double what it cost to make. So I would view that as a win. Like I bet that studios are looking for, 2.5 to 3, maybe. I've read that somewhere. And if you double your money, that's awesome.
And I just think, and a lot of people are saying that, I don't think Vin Diesel and everyone making this movie thought it was going to be a Spider-Man Homecoming. No one thought. No. They thought, I think people were realistic about his openings for XXX3, which is amazing, by the way, which I love every second of, and Last Witch Hunter. I mean, they did not open big, but they did big overseas. So I think there was a realistic expectation in regards to this film.
Yeah, it was just a casualty of the pandemic. So you said that no one went to the theater that weekend. I was one of those people who did, and
Nice.
I can relate to you what was going on. So I set out to see this movie specifically in the theater, and nothing near me was showing it. So I ended up seeing The Hunt instead. And I was one of maybe 5 people in this theater. And this was probably at like 5 o'clock, and I got home at 7:38. And by the time I got home, the theater that I went to had sent out an email closing for the weekend.
Wow.
I saw like literally probably the last movie in the theater.
Nobody wanted, like, no one went. So I don't understand these articles coming out by very people who I respect for websites like Forbes saying that this film tanked.
They're doing that because it's easy. You know, It's not a nuanced argument. Like saying something like what we're arguing here is that this movie didn't tank, that it was a casualty of the virus, is difficult because it makes you say, okay, so this movie might not be my favorite, but it wasn't given the opportunity. And they're just saying this movie's bad and that's why it tanked.
Yeah,
but it didn't tank. It just didn't have the opportunity.
These are smart people. Is there like a Vin agenda? It's a weird. Like I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's just a weird thing that such smart people be writing such, like, NPR called this movie like next to nothing. They said that it's just a tiny nanobite of a film, but it didn't want to be a massive movie. It wanted to be Bloodshot, a little nerdy, fun movie with special effects by Weta, with, you know, like some really fun stunts, like I don't know, good special effects. Like I don't think it wanted to be a gigantic movie. So even the complaints about it are sort of not taking this movie too seriously.
Yeah. So what we talked about on the Missing podcast,
where you cried,
when I cried,
my word,
was that, you know, there are different ways to view a film as a critic. You and I are both critics to some extent. I do it on my podcast, Award Wieners, and I also do it on our Instagram page. I write a movie review or a couple a week. But there's different ways to review movies. I think a lot of these big-time reviewers view movies in terms of everything that is out there. In the context of, in the history of movies, where does this movie sit? They don't view it in the context of, is this movie trying to accomplish the goal that it set out to do? And for me, Bloodshot accomplished the goal that it set out to do. It tells a engaging story on a minimum budget, and it's entertaining.
Do you think the comparisons to Hobbs and Shaw are fair? Because I read a lot of...
Oh my God.
It's such a weird...
Are you kidding me?
That's a $150 million movie. It's a very odd... People are just bringing in the rivalry between these guys. But I mean, it's a different beast.
It's totally different. Like, that makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense why you would compare those two movies. Now, that's absurd. It's asinine, actually.
Now that we're getting into the movie, the one thing I got to say about it is they should not put Vin Diesel in helmet. I'm not saying anything about his head. Like, I have a weird shaped head. So I just had glasses ordered for me, and when you look at your screen and why am I not getting this right? I don't know. What do you call them? David, help me out here. They just didn't fit on my head. My head was too long. So I'm not making fun of Vin.
Too wide? Your head was too wide?
It was just too long. So like they didn't go over my ears. Yeah. And so I did not phrase that eloquently. But Vin Diesel with this helmet, he's
a guy who doesn't look good in almost anything unless it's a sleeveless tank.
Yeah. Which all right, so there's a scene in this movie in the beginning of the film when he's come back from his mission. He's successful. He gets the hostage back. And his wife is there waiting for him. And he immediately rips off his jacket, and he has a pristine white tank top on. That has to be... He gets it. Vin Diesel gets it. He knows his brand, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's actually talk about his brand.
Okay.
Mark, what are the Vin Diesel trademarks?
Vin Diesel trademarks.
Yeah. We already said tank. He has a tank top. Black or white tank top.
So, all right. Tank tops... Fist fights. There has to be... Okay, he has to be larger than life. So in the latest Fast movies, he's essentially bulletproof and he beats up the entire gang. In The Last Witch Hunter, he is immortal and he never loses. In this one, he gets nanobites in his body and becomes unstoppable. So I think his brand is just... Even in Pacifier, he's the baddest dude on the planet. So I think it's gruff but kind guy who embraces family, wears tank tops, and can beat the living daylights out of people.
Yeah. I think those are all perfect. He might embody the idea of speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah.
Because he gives off this vibe of like, I don't want to do this. Just leave me alone. But if you mess with me, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're right. Like and you know what I like about this movie, which he gave himself credit for, but in this movie, unlike the Vin Diesel, like most movies in the past, this guy's three steps behind. So in Last Witch Hunter, he knows, spoilers, that Elijah Wood is he knows everything that's going to happen. So it's kind of fun watching Vin play catch up. It's fun watching people make fun of him in these movies. They know he's a tank. They know if they shoot him in a direction, he will go that way, and he does it. So I think that's fun watching that progression of his character. Yeah,
it is a unique character for him because he does usually play the person who's both physically and mentally tougher than everyone else. And in this case, he needs multiple people to help him because he has no clue what is going on.
And I love his backup in this movie.
Oh yeah, you want to mention his name?
Yeah, Wilfred Wiggins.
Yeah, so good. He's like a bright, shining star. So there was a lot of negativity to this movie, at least from critics. But almost all of them I've read pointed to this character and were like, but he's awesome.
Yeah, he's just fun. Like when you first meet him, he's hacking on some computers, telling people not to look at his butt. And then he saves Vin Diesel. And one of my favorite parts about this movie, which I don't know why I appreciated, and in the last podcast you kind of said that you had missed, but I like when Wiggins brings him back to life. He wakes him up. He gives Vin everything he needs. He doesn't want Vin going back onto his nanobyte internet because they'll just get a hold of him and shut him down. He wants him going on a different cell phone, use an analog car. And then he's like, man, how about you just say thank you? Because Vin walked out originally, not saying thank you. And as soon as Wilfred Wiggins says, please, man, just say thank you to me, for the rest of the movie, all Ray Garrison, a.k.a. Vin Diesel, a.k.a. Bloodshot, does is say thank you. Like, so at the end when he brings him back and he'll never have to recharge nanobytes, thank you. And he means it. And then when he gets the cars, thank you. He's not doing it selfishly. I think he's just this kind of dude that's on a mission. Then he forgot that this guy saved his life, and the rest of his movie he appreciated him. That's a neat character touch, and I dug it.
Yeah, it's a really good character touch. His other characters don't quite have that feeling.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like very rarely are there thank yous.
Yeah. I mean, I keep thinking about you bringing up that he needs to be saved. In the long run, he's not the leader, right? Yeah. Like if you look at Pitch Black, he becomes the leader. He makes the plans. In Fast and Furious, it's the Dom show. Yeah. Calder is the leader. Like there's no like clear leader in this. It's like other people are telling him what to do, and then he has to figure a way out of it.
Wow. That's a fun, like, so do you have all the reviews? I never read that in the reviews at all. Did you pick up on that?
No. I mean, basically what I read in the reviews are the same things that you mentioned on. They're like, this movie doesn't bring anything new. The CGI is a little muddled, and Vin Diesel plays Vin Diesel. And I think this is a good transition point actually to talk about, why people both hate and like Vin Diesel. I'm a Vin Diesel fan. Mm-hmm. And what I like about him is that he, as a person, is a giant freaking nerd.
Yes, he is. Last Witch Hunter, right?
Yeah, Last Witch Hunter. The Last Witch Hunter is based off his personal D&D character.
Yes.
Like, imagine having enough money that you're like, I'm going to bring my D&D character to life. That's amazing.
Well, will you make another Fast and Furious movie for us? I'll make 3. Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
3? That series is never going to end.
Yeah, it better not.
But I like him because it's so ridiculous, and I think he's self-aware of what is happening.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he knows that in the Fast and Furious movies that it's absurd and that they're just upping it one after another after another. And he's leaning into it. He leans into the persona, and I think a lot of people don't recognize that it's sort of an ongoing joke.
I mean, because he's a smart guy. Do you ever listen to him in interviews?
I have. He's very smart.
Very well spoken. And so there's